President Trump has made it a repeated habit to try to demean and undermine news organizations and reporters that are asking him questions that he doesn't like or are pushing just a little bit too much to get to the bottom and the truth of various situations. And Trump absolutely does not like being held accountable whatsoever. And we know how much he loves to control the narrative of the media. So when he can't do that, he gets very, very frustrated. And it manifested today in a very, very shocking way, even for Trump, I would say, where he essentially shouts down this NBC reporter, Peter Alexander, in the Oval Office. But before we look at the video, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot with the algorithm. Now we'll check out this video here from a bilateral meeting with the South African president that happened today. My little cat's hitting my mic. Go on, kitty. All right, here we go.
Any questions, please?
Mr. President, you welcome white Afrikaner refugees here. Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protected status revoked?
Well, this is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, you to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet. Let's go.
Thank you so much.
And, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did a country give a free, think of this, why did a country give an airplane to the United States Air Force?
Wow. So you heard Trump there shout down Peter Alexander saying, quiet, quiet, quiet. And I don't know, guys, but to me, the most powerful man in the world, the president of the United States, should not be fearful of any question whatsoever under the sun. And, let's play the game again of what if Biden did it? What if Obama did it? Could you imagine a Obama or a Biden telling a reporter from Fox News or what have you, quiet, quiet, quiet? No, they would absolutely never do that. And I remember lots of press conferences where Peter Doocy, in fact, of Fox News, was just so utterly disrespectful towards Jen Psaki and towards Biden on many, many different occasions. And Jen Psaki and the Biden administration, they never shut out Fox News from any of the media press briefings, and they always answered the questions to the best of their ability, as respectfully as they could answer. And this is just kind of another example of how Donald Trump is able to act however he wants and not be held responsible for it whatsoever. But then a Democrat can go and do the exact same thing, or not even go as far as what Trump did, and you'll have all of MAGA in a huge shitstorm over it. So, you know, and just a little bit on the substance of these questions, I don't think it's an unreasonable question whatsoever to ask the president, why is it that this one particular group of people are being allowed into the country and their process of becoming a citizen of the United States is being fast-tracked, and you're doing everything you can with the power of your administration to help these South Afrikaners become Americans, where you contrast that with how Trump has treated different groups of immigrants, and it is seriously eyebrow raising, right? Why does Trump care about these South Afrikaners more than any other group of immigrants? And he insists, continually insists, it's not about race, it's not about whatever. They could be purple, orange, blue, green, you know, he said something along those lines. He doesn't care. He just loves people and wants to help people. Well, what about Kilmar Abrego Garcia? What about the Venezuelans that have been wrongfully deported? And in fact, the administration, in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, has already admitted that they wrongfully deported him, but they still don't want to bring him back. Why, right? You got to wonder why. So it's totally not an unreasonable question whatsoever. And then on the jet, you know, they haven't given us a sufficient reasoning as to why the United States should accept this gift without congressional approval, right? It stipulates that in the Constitution very clearly that any foreign gifts are to have to go through congressional approval. And, you know, for Trump to not really have a satisfying answer to that, and to just dismiss all of NBC as being fake news and dismiss Peter Alexander as being a jerk, it really just shows how little of a substantive argument that Trump is able to make for his various actions his administration is taking, and really shows Trump's absolute complete disdain for being held accountable and being asked any questions whatsoever that have any substance and are not total softball questions. I mean, the White House has literally set up a whole new age media press briefing room literally just so Caroline Leavitt can get served softball question after softball question. And we know that that's all that the Trump administration wants, is to be asked softball question after softball question. They don't want to have to answer any sort of questions that are trying to dig deeper or get to the bottom of the various actions of the administration. It's just, trust us, we're doing the right thing, and don't worry about it, we know best. But the media's whole job is to dig deeper and to understand why the administration is doing different actions, and then to explain to the American people what the administration is doing based on that information. So, you know, good for Peter Alexander here for standing up to Trump and trying to ask his questions, even though Trump is being completely, utterly disrespectful to Peter Alexander here.